All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for taking time to check the video out today. We have three PlayStation related topics we're going to be covering today. The first has to do with the upcoming state of play that was announced for this upcoming Wednesday. Apparently, a good portion of the lineup of third-party games that will be on display at this state of play has leaked. Now, there is some pretty decent evidence here that points to this actually being a legitimate leak. And so I think you guys are going to be interested in that. We're also talking about Kenna Bridge of Spirits. We have some really good news about how well that game has sold and how Sony seems to be very pleased with it. And finally, we're talking a little bit more about God of War Ragnarok. We have some more details about this game coming from the director. So before we dive into it, if you could do me a favor, hit the like button to help the video out and hit the subscribe button as well if you are new here to the channel. But first up, talking about the leaked state of play lineup. This is reading from the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit, and it was posted by the user Dude Marvelous, and it says a Reset Era user might have accidentally leaked the state of play lineup. A user on Reset Era noticed some updated websites by Sony. She posted links with proof. This was days before the state of play was revealed, and the sites were updated/created seemingly out of nowhere for the following games. The following games got a new website: Final Fantasy XVI, Gotham Knights, Golem, Tchia, Dark Pictures Anthology. The following games had a site and it got updated: Voice of Cards. So when you look at this, there is some evidence here that at least a few of these games that were just listed will be showcased at this upcoming state of play. And they all seem to make a lot of sense, right? Something I saw a lot of people bring up when we talked about the announcement of this state of play and the fact that it's going to focus on third-party titles. A lot of people were thinking, well, Final Fantasy XVI is a third-party title. It will be a PlayStation 5 exclusive, likely a timed one, but it's still a third-party title nonetheless. So a lot of people were saying, I hope we end up seeing it there. And I think that there's a decent chance this is legitimate and we will see more Final Fantasy XVI. We don't want to jump to any conclusions, of course, but it would make sense for it to show up to some capacity. And I think that that would be a big deal. I think if we see Final Fantasy XVI at this state of play, that's for a lot of people going to make it a great state of play automatically. A lot of people were very excited at the idea of seeing more Gotham Knights. We did see another trailer recently from I think it was the DC Fandom, but there's still no release date attached to it. So some people are thinking that if this leak is real, maybe we'll get another trailer, but this time we'll also get a release date. We know it's releasing sometime in 2022. Golem, it's like a Lord of the Rings game that focuses on Golem. Kind of forgot this game was a thing. I think a lot of people have, but that is another game that would make sense to be shown off here. I think it's a next-gen only game as well, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that one, but I think it is. Tchia, I don't know what that game is, and we also have Dark Pictures Anthology. I think the real question is if this is real, right? If this is legitimate, which again, there is some proof here that seems to indicate this might be legitimate. Is this it? Are these all the games that are going to show up? Well, Sony did say the state of play will be about 20 minutes, roughly. So, I mean, if you look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 games taking up 20 minutes. It seems like if that's the case, these trailers that they're going to show might run a little bit long. I mean, not too long. I could see it being, I could see this being the entire. Now that I'm thinking about it, this actually seems kind of perfect. 20 minutes, about 6 games, give them each, a short to medium-sized trailer. Yeah, I could see that happening. So, yeah, that's pretty much the leak. I don't know if it's 100% legitimate. You guys can make of it what you will and let me know down in the comments below if you think that there's something to this and you think that maybe this is exactly what the state of play lineup will end up being. And if so, let me know what you think about it. But talking about Kenna Bridge of Spirits, reading from PlayStation Lifestyle, Kenna Bridge of Spirits developer Ember Lab has told Bloomberg's Jason Schreier that the game has already recouped its initial development costs and Sony is happy with its performance. Ember Lab founders and brothers Mike and Josh Greer revealed that prior to signing a deal with Sony, their pitch for Kenna attracted several big publishers. Ember Lab had never made a video game before, it was an animation studio, so the Greers were delighted to work with Sony. Now, I found that pretty interesting. Apparently, there were quite a few big publishers who liked what they saw with Kenna Bridge of Spirits and believed that it had a lot of potential, but they specifically chose to go with Sony, which seems to have been a good idea for them and is working out really well because, as they say here, they did recoup their initial cost already, which is great to hear. You have to assume that the game is profitable by this point, and Sony is happy with this. And, I think that a lot of people who played Kenna Bridge of Spirits, as I said, I've seen a lot of you in the comment sections letting me know you've been playing it, letting me know how much you've been enjoying it. Some people absolutely love the game. A lot of you were saying that, Sony is pretty much on a spending spree and a buying spree when it comes to acquisitions for studios that make sense for them and to be part of PlayStation Studios. A lot of you were saying you hope to see Ember Labs become one of these studios that Sony will acquire. And I have to imagine, we really don't know, but I have to imagine that it's at least, something that Sony is thinking about. They see that this is their first game and they're already kind of like, I don't want to say knocking it out of the park because maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but they're already doing things that, just lead to big success. The game reviewed well, it's selling well, people really like it. And, I have to imagine that Sony's maybe looking at these guys and being like, maybe we should try to make an offer. It's clear that Ember Labs, they really enjoy Sony, or they like something about Sony because they chose to go with them after being offered, multiple deals by other big publishers. So I don't know. I don't want to read into this too much. I'm not trying to sit here and say that, well, here we go. This is it. Pretty much confirmation that Ember Lab is going to be acquired by Sony. I'm not saying that. I'm just simply saying I think it would make a lot of sense. And I know that a lot of you are hoping for that as well. But at the very least, we know that there is a strong relationship here between Ember Lab and Sony, and the fact that they're coming out here and talking about it and saying, yeah, Sony's very pleased, the game's doing great, it's all really good. So we'll have to see what ends up happening. I haven't played Kenna Bridge of Spirits yet. I'm waiting for the physical release, but I'm very much looking forward to it. I've heard, again, nothing but great things about it, so definitely feeling excited to play it when I finally get the chance to do so. Moving on to the final topic of this video, it focuses once again on God of War Ragnarok. We have some more things to go over that are being said by the game's director, Eric Williams. And so this is reading from OP Attack. They say the reboot of God of War from 2018 gave Kratos some much needed character development that salvaged him in the eyes of much of the community, but that doesn't mean that both Kratos and Atreus are done yet. God of War Ragnarok, according to director Eric Williams, as shared in the latest Play magazine, will have more character development in it. Quote, there's the internal struggle with Kratos. He made a lot of ground up with Atreus and released those bonds at the end and walked up there and released the ashes. But at that moment, he also gets gut punched when he finds out his wife didn't tell him everything. 2017's God of War ended with Kratos and Atreus discovering that Atreus' true name was Loki, known in Norse mythology as a person who would help to bring about Ragnarok, the Viking end of the world where all of the gods would die. Atreus also has some issues to work through in God of War Ragnarok and is now on more equal footing, according to Williams. Quote, last time it was one kid with a lot of adults talking. We're going to see it from a kid's perspective of the world, figuring things out that they thought they were black and white and maybe much more gray and a lot more family dynamics. So yeah, this I thought was pretty interesting. It's not the most revealing, and I think it's good because apparently some people are not too happy with how much has been revealed about this game so far. Some people feel like there were some things that were spoiled, but I think that what he's saying here is pretty broad, like he's not spoiling anything, but seems to be making it clear that this time around, it's not like there isn't going to be further character development. I don't think anybody was doubting that, but I think the fact that they continue to reinforce this, the fact that Eric Williams seemingly continues to bring it up, and he also seems to talk about the fact that, hey, Atreus isn't really a little kid anymore. He's going to start viewing things differently, and he's talking about family dynamics. I mean, what I get from this and what I gather is there's going to be a lot of drama between Kratos and Atreus this time around. I mean, there already was in the first game, right? But this time around, it seems like there's just really going to be like some heated moments between them that go even further than what we saw in the first game, which I think is going to be really interesting because those moments in the first game, I think, were really strong and really did a good job just kind of driving home this idea that, hey, Kratos is struggling as a father, and Atreus, he's growing and he's learning and he's, slowly coming into his own. And I think that with this game, we're going to see him obviously kind of get to that point. It's like a coming of age story, maybe. And yeah, I don't know, man. I'm really excited. I'm always interested to hear what Eric Williams has to say about the next game. I mean, he's the mastermind behind it this time, directing it anyway. So, yeah, you guys can tell me what you think of this. What kind of drama are you expecting to unfold between Atreus and Kratos? And what do you think he's trying to get at here when he says, at that moment, the ending of God of War 2018, for as great as it was, he says, hey, Kratos was gut punched. Apparently his wife was hiding some things from him. So yeah, what do you think? What do you think that's all going to add up to with Ragnarok? I'll be interested to see what you guys have to say. That does it for the video, though. Again, be sure to leave it a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.